1914, APPA's foundation began in unsettled times. The lingering recession of 1907, World War I, the prosperous 20s, and then the Great Depression. The Works Progress Administration, the WPA, allocated over $100 million for college and university construction, creating jobs, incomes, and over 6,500 new buildings. But for the first time, campuses were operating in the red.
When you look at higher ed in particular, over time as it evolved, as you got through the 40s with the introduction of the GI Bill and into the 50s, and then the boomer generation, which that took off from there, and the funding that went into the building of what we know to be today's public university and college system, and private colleges. What you saw was perhaps a transition from the wrench turning to something that was much different.
Past President George Moore said one of the biggest problems facing the facilities profession in the 1950s was that university presidents and boards allowed their schools to overbuild with no provisions to maintain them. About 75% of American campus buildings were constructed between 1960 and 1985, a building habit that persists today.
One of the big challenges we have is that there's no limit set on our growth. The anticipation is that we cannot fit many more than 24,000 students on our campus.
Many schools are growth at all costs. They want new buildings. People like to have new buildings where they can put names on the side of those buildings.
Remember, the built environment is built for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years. So what decision impacts an institution more than the building of a building?
They like brick and mortar. They don't like maintenance. They don't like capital maintenance or capital renewal and maintenance.
Taking care of the growing number of buildings has been made more difficult by today's economy.
None of us believe that the economy is going to change so dramatically that we're going to go back to the good old days.
The cost of higher education has risen exponentially in the past few years. There is greater attention on the physical assets of universities. We play a vital role in helping to manage the cost, to help deliver a quality product, to help really to meet the mission of the university.
With the Great Recession and the economy as it looks like it's going to stay, and the costs of buildings and the utility infrastructure, we have to think not how do we do more with less, but how we do better with less.
It has been very challenging, and really we just keep looking for more efficiencies, and surprisingly keep coming up, maybe surprising to me, we keep coming up with more.
If something new comes up, I totally utilize the APPA listserv, which is a network of thousands of facility professionals. You can ask a question on the listserv and you can get an answer back.
Sharing information, finding new solutions, and helping one another is a large part of APPA's strength. When an earthquake hit Christchurch, New Zealand, damaging Canterbury University, the university reached out to their APPA partners in the States.
I was in Christchurch, New Zealand, a community that was devastated by a horrific earthquake. How do you get a university back online? The folks in New Zealand went right to the folks that were involved in the earthquake in Northridge in California. Another APPA connection.
Using Cal State Northridge's experience, Canterbury was able to reopen in a month with a temporary campus.
There's great power in the APPA network.
Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana on August 29, 2005.
It was a situation you just didn't know where to start. I've never been in a war zone, but everything was just, wet and dead. Every piece of equipment I had that could clean this debris was underwater. Dead trees, blown off trees, benches blown over, cars just floating on the campus. So how do you clean this up?
There wasn't one business partner or member that wasn't trying to get in touch with those institutions that were devastated. We could see it on the news. They were devastated. Sending help.
I started by going back to APPA. Some of the vendors and some of the people, I started calling those people saying, I need help. How can I get help?
Students were back on campus by January 2006.
My name is Marion Bracy. I'm Vice President Facility Planning Management at Xavier University of Louisiana.
Since then, Bracy has been sharing his Katrina story with other APPA members so they can develop their own recovery plans.
Take pictures, write it down, take an inventory, keep it in a high place. Don't just put it on a shelf on the first floor in your physical plant building. That's not going to work.
They care and they share. It's amazing to me how they give back to one another. And I think that's what makes the difference is they all see it as, I might have that problem, I might have to deal with that.
I'm just thankful that I've had an opportunity to survive and to contribute to make sure that other people don't experience the same thing.